Very good day to you. This is our midday broadcast. Today is a little late, and the Lord's word and vision came in the form of Gideon's 300 being prepared. I asked this morning, Lord, so what will you do for us? Then I saw the selection process. 32,000 came, and when it was announced that it's going to be a tough war, 22,000 went away, 10,000 remained. Then the Lord said, it's still too much, and I just want completely obedient people. And He told, I'll show you how to select them. Select the one I indicate to you and send away the other ones. So they were taken to water, because the 9,700 drank water as if they were on a full-time business of drinking water. They let their armor go, went on their knees and dripped down onto the water stream and went on drinking. If the enemy came and attacked them, there would have been no way they would know. But 300, they went on their right knee, held their shield like that, kept one eye on the enemy. They were all armor clad, they didn't remove the armor, and they took one eye on the enemy and gave their ear to the Lord's instruction and quickly drank whatever little water they wanted. They were ready. And this shield and the 300 has their shields just parallel. Imagine the picture, shields parallel. If an arrow came from that way, they are protected by their own shield. If an arrow came this way, they are protected by the shield of their brother behind them. And God said, go ahead with this 300. So let me read to you this great story. For these times, the kind of hearing from the Lord we need, and then keeping our eye on the trouble, but hearing the Lord more, and to be ready with all God has equipped us to be ready with. So the Judges chapter 7. So he brought the people down to the water. And the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps from the water with his tongue as a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise, everyone who gets down on his knees to drink. And the number of those who lapped, putting their hands to their mouth, was 300. But all the rest of the people got down on their knees to drink, so that they couldn't go to war. If enemy came, they would have been all down. By the 300 men who lapped, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hand. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. So this is how it happened. So that night, when the 300 were ready with a pitcher in their hand, with the fire inside the pitcher, already the Lord had given a dream to the enemy that Gideon is going to win. So during this time, we are expecting the Lord to give dreams to people to come to Him, even those who have deeply defected. Isaiah 31 verse 9 says, deeply defected, come to Him. There is the time to come to Him. So many of our friends, neighbors, relatives maybe who didn't want to listen to us, even were desultory and denied, insulted God, but God might give them a dream to get to Him. So we are expectant of this time, how the Lord prepares us every day with our shield ready, holding shields for each other. That's what prayer is. So it's a great example of how these 300 got ready, how they were chosen. Similarly, at drought time, in Gideon, at that time, nobody could do anything. They were in caves, shut down. Midianites were everywhere. Now COVID is everywhere. So during drought time, how have people responded? You remember during drought time, Elimelech went to Moab and lost everything. He lost his life. And Naomi, his wife, said, I have no more pleasant. Naomi meant pleasant. Elimelech meant God is king. But their names themselves looked askance, not because times got so bad. But in Bethlehem, God prepared Boaz to prosper during drought time. Then God prepared Isaac in drought times to prosper in a place called Rehoboth. So this is how God works. So here is another drought time, Psalm 105. Let's see how this is. Verse 16, moreover, He called for a famine in the land. He destroyed all the provision of bread, just like a COVID time. He sent a man before them, Joseph, who was sold as a slave. They hurt his feet with fetters. He was laid in the irons. So don't get affected by the troubles you go through. It's for a season and for a reason. Until the time that his word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him. So the word of the Lord comes to get us into where He knows we have to get to. That's the training in the word, just the way an athlete trains for every muscle to come right, you know. He knows that the biceps have to come right, the triceps have to come right, the pectoralis major has to come right, the latissimus dorsi has to come right, the trapezius has to come right. So everywhere, similarly, the word of God, when applied and obeyed, gets our spiritual muscle into order for the things God has set for us to do. They hurt his feet with fetters until the time. The king sent and released him. The ruler of the people let him go free. Then came his time of deliverance, promotion, and the commission. He made him lord of his house, 1. 2, ruler of the people, 2, ruler of all his possessions. So we need a Joseph in this time. Christians raised up. Every father for his family, and others in different areas and spheres of influence, which may range from just your family to 10,000 livelihoods. I was speaking to a gentleman who's in his field. It's the best-known company, won many medals. He's the chairman, and he gave me how God spoke to him, saying, "Improve the skill, management, operate, grow. Skill, manage, operate, grow." A smog, a different skill, manage, operate, grow. And he said that's how God gives wisdom in this difficult time. So that's how a Joseph is made. So as I said, you may be just Joseph for your family, or for a large workforce of 10,000 livelihoods, or in your work field, in your professional field as doctor, lawyer, engineer. He may give specific wisdom. 1, he is lord of his house. 2, ruler of all his possessions. 3, bind his princes at his pleasure. So anyone out of place, they bind. So it has connotation of spiritual principalities and powers, as well as others who are opposed to the will of God. Bind them, stop them. They can't operate when your office is in force. 4, teach his elders wisdom. So in every area, wisdom to come. 5, the succession. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob dwelt in the land of Ham. He increased his people greatly. In this time, when the Joseph's office is operating, God means to use you to increase God's people. Increased his people greatly. He made them stronger than their enemies. So believe that when the world is weakening, the Lord is strengthening his people. That's what he is doing. He turned their hearts to, yes. So this is how the Lord will, so he sent. That's the Greek would have been apostolio. He sent a man before them. This is a God sending. The next verse says he sent Moses. So this is a chapter Psalm 105, how God sends into the situation. And I want to end up with the story of Ben Carson. He was a poor little boy, and one day he was waiting for his dad, which was his habit, on the doorstep of a very poor quality housing complex. And 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., 6:30, 7 p.m., father was not home yet. Mom said, "Son, dad is not coming home. He has left home." So actually, dad had left home for another woman. And this little boy, soon after, the mother and he had to move out of that house to a much worse housing complex. Rats and cockroaches were his memory. And then he studied well. Mother prayed, encouraged him not to watch TV, not to get into bad company, but study. So Ben Carson, the one who became famous as Dr. Ben Carson in USA, studied, and he was going to sit for the university qualifying examination, what we would call advanced level, but he was weak in chemistry. So that night he had a dream. Next day was chemistry. He had a dream of a tuition master teaching out of a question answer paper. And in that, he got up in the morning and he remembered everything that was taught. He goes for the exam, finds that exactly the same paper that came he had seen in a dream. And John Hopkins University, he applied the medical school. No one black had got into John Hopkins University because it was a favored medical college. You had to have that high rank of marks. No one ever. But that year he got there because he had the highest marks. And he became the eminent, well-known neurosurgeon because he did the successful separation of the brain of two Siamese twins, and that made the grade. And when he came into politics, and he was given the housing secretary, he became housing secretary under President Trump because he thought he was in such a poor house that he might be able to improve the housing quality. So can you see from rags to riches? What a great story, isn't it? Yes. I have a book called Rags to Riches. So parents, I have a number of books that you need to read during this shutdown time without saying no schools, don't know what's happening. Please, it's strenuous time. But here is 50 snapshots from David's life. Please read it. They meant for you to read it with the kids. Children are heritage and future. Let's be screen smart so that they don't get too much on the screen. In Sri Lanka, all these books are available from Vijitayapa bookshop and from Sarasavi bookshops. Also available from Apeksha bookshop at Moratuwa and in Borella. God bless you for listening. So let's say, God gives me a Joseph's office to do all these good things that he has called me to do. So we are not down by the circumstances, but every day Christ prepares us for more. Last hour, thanksgiving. Next hour of praise and hope, we enter like that. God bless you. God keep you.